In the bitter cold of a Minnesota winter, temperatures drop mercilessly even during daylight hours. Allison Marshall sipped her coffee at the kitchen counter while checking the hospital shift schedule. Her husband Robert had been working on a large construction project in the Middle East for 3 weeks, and she was taking care of their 6-year-old daughter Lily by herself. Fortunately, her mother Carol and sister Vanessa lived in Minneapolis and could help when needed, at least on the surface. "Lily, breakfast is ready," Allison called upstairs. Bailey, the family's golden retriever, wagged his tail and bounded up the stairs to fetch Lily. Balancing childcare with her nursing job at the hospital wasn't easy, especially while Robert was away on extended business trips. Allison smiled, remembering his latest video message. "Don't worry, I'll be back in a week," he had said. The sound of little feet scampering down the stairs could be heard, and Lily appeared wearing blue pajamas. Her blonde hair was disheveled from sleep, but her smile was as bright as the morning sunshine. "Good morning, Mom," Lily hugged Allison. "Am I going to Grandma's house after school today?" Allison shrugged slightly. "Yes, because Mommy needs to work late at the hospital today. But don't worry, Bailey can come with you." Lily let out a small sigh. "But at Grandma's house, it's always Amy who..." She stopped mid-sentence. Allison didn't press further. She noticed this hesitation in her daughter almost daily. Carol should love both granddaughters equally, but something felt off. Amy, Vanessa's 8-year-old daughter, always seemed to receive special treatment from Carol, the latest gaming devices, stylish clothes, and most importantly, attention. "Lily, don't worry. Don't forget to bring the teddy bear Dad gave you." Robert had given Lily a small brown stuffed bear. "If you ever have any trouble, press the button on the back of this bear," he had told his daughter. He hadn't told Allison it was a hidden camera. He had only said it was a secret gift from Dad. After breakfast, Allison dropped Lily off at preschool and headed to the pediatric ward of Minneapolis General Hospital. Walking down the white corridors, she thought about her patients, children fighting brave battles against illness despite challenging home environments. "Allison, got a minute?" her colleague Susan called out. "Today looks tough. There might be an emergency heart surgery this afternoon. If that happens, it's going to run long." Allison checked her watch. "That would be difficult. I was planning to leave Lily with my mother today." When she called Carol, the reaction was as expected, a slightly disgruntled but reluctantly agreeable voice. "I had plans today, but I suppose I'll have to manage." Allison hung up with a sigh. Her relationship with her mother was complicated. Carol thought Allison led a plain and boring life. Meanwhile, Vanessa cultivated the image of a perfect family on social media, running an account themed around ideal parenting, something Carol took pride in. As the day progressed, the emergency surgery materialized as anticipated. Allison called the preschool to let them know she wouldn't be able to pick up Lily. The preschool would contact Carol, who would collect Lily and Bailey. As she changed into her surgical scrubs, Allison felt a small knot of worry in her chest. Recently, Lily had been different when she returned from her grandmother's house. She seemed to be hiding something. Allison resolved to focus on the surgery. Allison's smartphone suddenly rang, breaking the silence of the surgical prep room. "Ms. Marshall, hurry. Dr. Phillips has already started preparations," said Harriet, the head nurse. Allison sighed and ended the call. The preschool was about to close, and she had just confirmed final arrangements for Lily's pickup. She suppressed the growing anxiety in her chest and called Carol. "Mom, I'm really sorry. An emergency heart surgery came up. Can you keep Lily longer?" A sigh came from the other end of the line. "I have my bridge club today, but I suppose I'll have to manage," Carol replied with dissatisfaction. "What time will you pick her up?" "As soon as the surgery is over. It'll probably take about 5 hours." 5 hours? Carol's voice was clearly irritated. "I was planning to attend Amy's dance recital." Allison felt a pang of sadness while making excuses. Her mother always prioritized her niece Amy's activities. "I'm really sorry, Mom. I don't have a choice." While preparing for surgery, Allison called her daughter. The preschool staff must have brought the phone to her. Lily, Mommy has an important surgery today. Grandma will come pick you up. There was a small silence on the other end. But, Mom. Lily's voice trembled slightly. I don't want to go to Grandma's house. Pain shot through Allison's chest. It's okay, Bailey will be with you too, and I'll come get you as soon as I can. Take the teddy bear Dad gave you. Do you promise? I promise. Mommy will come as soon as possible. The repair of the little boy's heart was more complex than expected. Allison concentrated on the monitor while occasionally glancing out the window. The snow was intensifying, and the streetlights looked hazy through the blizzard. She thought she should contact her mother but couldn't during surgery. Another hour passed before the surgery finally ended. Allison dragged her tired body and hurriedly called Carol. Outside, it was completely dark, and the temperature had dropped dramatically. Mom, I just finished. I'm on my way now. Oh, that's fine, Carol's voice was strangely distant. Lily is playing outside. Allison stopped in her tracks. Outside? But it's snowing, and it's dark. I let Bailey out a while ago. Lily wanted to go with him, Carol said. In the background, the sounds of Amy's video game could be heard. Sensing something was wrong, Allison said, I'll be right there, and hung up. With her chest full of worry, she rushed out of the hospital. Driving through the Minneapolis streets, Allison's anxiety only grew. The snow was getting heavier, and the wind stronger. When she arrived at Carol's house, she encountered an unbelievable sight. Lily and Bailey were sitting on the front porch steps, shivering. Lily wore only a thin coat, her hair wet with snow, and her face red from the cold. Bailey loyally sat beside the little girl, trying to keep her warm. Lily. Allison cried, jumping out of the car. What happened? Why are you outside? Lily looked up, her small voice coming from frozen lips. Mom. She said, crying. Grandma told me to stay outside, because Bailey would make the house dirty. Unbelievable anger surged through Allison. She hugged her daughter and quickly carried her to the car. She started the engine and turned the heater to maximum. How long have you been outside? Allison asked, stroking Lily's wet hair with trembling hands. I don't know. Lily answered, shivering. The sun moved. Allison walked toward the front door. When she knocked forcefully, Carol opened it. Behind her, Amy was engrossed in a video game. The room looked warm and comfortable. Oh, Allison, you're here already? Carol said as if nothing was wrong. Why was Lily outside? Allison's voice shook with anger. Carol shrugged. That dog runs around and dirties the carpet. Besides, children should play outside. In freezing snow? After dark? Allison demanded with an incredulous expression. At that moment, Vanessa appeared from the kitchen. Allison, you're overreacting. It's just a little cold. A little cold? It's 15 below zero tonight. Allison shouted. Vanessa laughed coldly. My child was inside playing games. Amy has good manners. She's not a spoiled child like yours. Allison was speechless with anger. She stared at Carol and said in a low voice, this is the last time. I will never leave Lily with you again. Allison, don't exaggerate, Carol said. Children should experience some hardship. Your parenting is too soft. Too soft? Allison said with disbelief. Freezing my daughter is what you call experiencing hardship? Just then, the car horn sounded. Lily had pressed the horn. I'm leaving, Allison said. And don't contact me again. Allison gripped the steering wheel with shaking hands and drove away from Carol's house. In the car, Lily was still shivering. Mom, did I do something bad? Lily asked in a small voice. Tears welled in Allison's eyes. No, you didn't do anything wrong. I promise. She was burning with thoughts of revenge. This wasn't just family discord, it was clear abuse. Back home, Allison gave Lily a warm bath and carefully checked for signs of hypothermia. Fortunately, despite being outside for a long time, neither Lily nor Bailey showed symptoms of serious frostbite. That night, after Lily had finally fallen asleep, Allison called Robert. It was before dawn in the Middle East, but he answered on the first ring. "Allison? Is something wrong?" His voice was full of concern. Holding back tears, Allison told him everything that had happened that day. Robert's anger was palpable even over the phone. "I'm coming home right away," he said firmly. "This is unacceptable." "Robert, calm down," Allison said. "Caring for Lily is the top priority now. I'll handle things according to my judgment until you get back." After hanging up, Allison peeked quietly into Lily's room. Her daughter was sleeping, hugging the teddy bear. Looking at that small body, Allison strengthened her resolve. She could not let this incident slide. A week passed after the incident. Since the day she was left outside, Lily had been crying more at night and becoming frightened by small things. Allison continued to ignore the successive calls from Carol and Vanessa, and at work, she arranged for her colleague Susan to babysit in emergencies. That evening, Lily woke up from another nightmare. "Mom. It's cold outside. Let me in," she cried out in the darkness. Allison rushed to her daughter's room. "It's okay, baby. Mommy's here," she gently embraced her daughter. Lily's small body was trembling. "You never have to go to Grandma's house again. Do you promise?" Lily's eyes were full of tears. "I promise," Allison said firmly. The next morning, after Lily had gone to school, Allison began tidying her daughter's room. While picking up toys scattered on the floor, she spotted a small brown object under the bed. Bending down to reach it, she found the teddy bear Robert had given to Lily. "Why is this here?" Allison wondered as she picked up the teddy bear. She recalled Robert saying something about this bear before he left. Something about a secret gift. As she examined the bear, her fingers touched something hard on its back. Looking closely, she found a small button. Driven by curiosity, she pressed it, and a small light flashed from the bear's eyes. "This is..." Allison gasped in surprise. She examined the bear further and discovered a small USB port. She quickly connected it to her computer, and a message appeared, "Recorded data available." Allison's hands trembled. She finally understood what her husband had done. Robert had planted a hidden camera in the teddy bear to ensure Lily's safety. She took a deep breath and pressed play. The first footage was from Lily's room. Next came scenes from Carol's living room. Amy was playing with a new gaming device, with Carol sitting beside her, praising her granddaughter. "Amy, you're so smart. You're good at this game too." The camera recorded from Lily's perspective, showing her sitting quietly in the corner of the room. She was reading a picture book with Bailey, but no one seemed to notice her. The footage continued, changing to a scene where Carol was speaking to Lily. "Your mom is too busy. We're not a real family," could be clearly heard. Allison gasped. Even more shocking scenes followed. Amy taking away Lily's toys, insisting, "This is mine." Vanessa watching and laughing, telling Carol, Amy knows how to stand up for what she wants. And then, the most heartbreaking moment was shown. The afternoon when snow began to fall. Carol was pushing Lily and Bailey outside. "Bailey makes the house dirty, so no," Carol said coldly. "Go play outside." "But it's cold." Lily's small voice could be heard. "Complaining about a little cold just shows how spoiled you are," Carol replied, closing the door. The video captured hours of Lily and Bailey waiting outside, shivering. Occasionally, Lily would knock on the door, pleading, "Let me in, please." But there was no response. The footage ended with Allison rushing to the front door. Allison stared at the screen, tears streaming down her cheeks. With trembling hands, she made a video call to Robert. Considering the time difference with the Middle East, he might be on a work break. After several rings, Robert's tired face appeared on screen. Allison? Is something wrong? Why did you give Lily a camera without telling me? Allison asked directly. Robert was silent for a moment, then answered with a serious expression. I didn't want to worry you. But haven't you noticed how strange Lily has been acting when she comes back from your mother's house? I've been concerned for a while. I thought without evidence, Carol would never admit anything. Your instincts were right, Allison said, her voice shaking. I just watched the footage. She explained the content of the video to Robert. She could see his face gradually contorting with anger. I'm returning home immediately, Robert said decisively. This isn't just favoritism, it's clear abuse. Robert, be calm, Allison said. Caring for Lily is our first priority now. When you get back, we'll have a family meeting. Not just with Carol and Vanessa, but also with your parents via video call. This issue needs to be addressed by the whole family. Robert nodded. Understood. I'll be on tomorrow's flight. Have you said anything to Carol and Vanessa? Not yet. I've been ignoring their calls. That's better. Let's confront them with the evidence. After ending the call, Allison returned to Lily's room and put the teddy bear back in its place. Looking at the bear, she thought, you're our little hero. That night, Allison received another call from Carol. Seeing the caller ID, she took a deep breath before answering. Allison, enough is enough, Carol's voice was filled with anger. What do you mean by ignoring me for a week? Mom, Allison answered calmly. I don't want to talk now. We'll have a discussion with the whole family when Robert returns. What? Carol sounded surprised. You're involving Robert? How dramatic. It's not dramatic, Allison said quietly. Can you come to our house the day after tomorrow? Vanessa too. For what purpose? We have important matters to discuss, Allison said without further explanation and hung up. 2 days later, Robert returned as planned. He embraced his daughter at the airport and didn't let go for a long time. Lily, are you all right? Lily nodded and said in a small voice, Dad, the teddy bear helped. Robert caught Allison's eye and nodded silently. As they headed home, they began preparing for the next day's confrontation. They also asked Robert's parents, George and Martha, to participate via video call. Living in Ohio, they were deeply troubled to hear what had happened to their granddaughter. Tell us what we can do, George said on the video call. If necessary, we'll come to Minneapolis right away. Allison was grateful for her in-laws' support. They always put family first and loved Lily unconditionally, in stark contrast to her own mother and sister. That night, after Lily was asleep, Allison and Robert sat in the living room to talk. What do we do when they come tomorrow? Allison asked. Robert answered with a determined expression. We show them the truth. Their excuses and denials won't work anymore. Lily's safety and well-being are our top priority. Allison nodded and held her husband's hand. The next morning, Allison and Robert left Lily with a trusted neighbor and prepared for the family meeting. Robert connected a laptop to the TV so the video could be viewed on a large screen. While brewing coffee, Allison mentally rehearsed the words she had been practicing. When they arrive, let's talk calmly first, Robert placed a hand on his wife's shoulder. We shouldn't let anger cloud our judgment. The doorbell rang, and Allison took a deep breath before opening the door. Carol and Vanessa stood there. Carol's expression was hard, and Vanessa was visibly irritated. Making such a big deal, Carol said as she entered the living room. Just to discuss a family matter, why did you need to call Robert back? Please sit down, Robert said calmly. George and Martha will also join us via video call. On the screen, the concerned faces of Robert's parents appeared. Carol, Vanessa, George greeted them. It seems there's an important matter to discuss. Carol folded her arms and asked, what is this about? Allison caught Robert's eye and nodded. Robert took the remote control and said, we have something to show you, and started playing the video. As the footage began, the atmosphere in the room changed. The color drained from Carol and Vanessa's faces. The scenes of Amy being favored, Carol speaking coldly to Lily, and most shockingly, Lily and Bailey shivering in the snow, knocking on the door. "Let me in, please, it's cold." Lily's small voice echoed throughout the room. Over the video call, Martha could be heard gasping. "I can't believe it." When the video ended, a heavy silence filled the room. Allison spoke quietly, "Is this what you call a family?" Carol opened her mouth, but quickly closed it. She stared at the video, seemingly searching for an excuse. "It's just a misunderstanding," she finally said. "Don't take a small child's words at face value. Lily likes playing outside." "The footage shows you pushing her and Bailey outside," Robert calmly pointed out. "Lily said it was cold, but you closed the door." "And you said Lily's mother is too busy," Allison added. "That we're not a real family." Vanessa suddenly stood up. "Isn't this a legal recording?" "It's against the law. As parents, it's our natural duty to protect our child," Robert replied calmly. "Leaving my daughter outside in the cold is not mere carelessness, it's abuse. This is unacceptable. I am your mother." Carol raised her voice. "I don't deserve to be treated this way." "If you're a mother, you should love all your grandchildren equally," Allison said. "But you favored only Amy and discriminated against Lily. I can't trust my daughter with someone like that anymore." From the video call, George's voice quietly resonated. "Carol, this is a serious issue. Not just family discord. A child's safety has been threatened. We're moving to Minneapolis," Martha said, "to help care for Lily." Carol and Vanessa looked at each other, speechless. "The result of this meeting," Robert said, standing up, "is that Lily's safety and mental health are our top priority. Until you deeply reflect on your actions and change, contact with Lily will not be permitted." "What?" Carol's voice trembled. "I can't see my grandchild." "That's the consequence of your choices," Allison said quietly. "Lily is afraid of you. Until her feelings change, we will keep our distance." Vanessa's face reddened with anger. "I'll tell everyone on social media about being a victim betrayed by family." "Go ahead," Robert calmly replied. "But be prepared for this video to be made public as well." At those words, Vanessa fell silent. 1 month later, Allison's family life was gradually regaining stability. Robert negotiated with his company to increase remote work so he could prioritize family time. George and Martha stayed in Minneapolis for 2 weeks as promised to help care for their granddaughter before returning to Ohio, but they continued frequent video calls. Lily began seeing a child psychologist, and her night crying gradually decreased. She slowly regained her smile and started showing her previous lively behavior at school. Meanwhile, Carol and Vanessa's situation continued to deteriorate. Vanessa's attempt to portray herself as a victim on social media failed to gain sympathy from her followers. Instead, critical comments like, "How could you favor only one grandchild?" increased. The followers of her perfect parenting account plummeted. One day, Allison heard interesting news from a colleague at the hospital. A parent-child relationship improvement program was starting at the local parenting support center, with workshops specifically targeting families dealing with abuse and discriminatory treatment issues. With hesitation, she emailed Carol information about this program, adding a brief message, "If you truly want to repair the relationship." She didn't expect a reply, but 3 days later, she received an unexpected response from Carol. "I'll think about it," was the concise answer. Around the same time, news came that Amy was having trouble at school. Her looking down on other children was becoming an issue, and the school counselor suggested she might be mimicking adult behavior at home. For the first time, Vanessa had to reconsider her parenting approach. 2 months later, Allison accidentally encountered Carol at the supermarket. Carol looked noticeably thinner and less energetic, prompting Allison to spontaneously speak to her. "Mom, how are you?" After showing a surprised expression, Carol answered in a dejected voice, "I'm attending that program." They decided to talk at a nearby cafe. Carol tearfully said, "I was wrong. I'm beginning to understand my behavior patterns through the program. I grew up receiving discriminatory treatment from my own parents, so I was unconsciously repeating that pattern. Though surprised by her mother's change, Allison couldn't immediately believe it. Do you really want to change? I want to restore my relationship with Lily, Carol answered with a serious expression. But I know it will take time. Your decision was right. Following this conversation, Allison carefully consulted with Robert. They began considering a gradual relationship restoration with conditions. Around this time, Vanessa also transformed her social media presence. She closed her Perfect Parenting account and instead started an honest blog called Journey to Face the Reality of Parenting. There, she began addressing her mistakes and surprisingly received positive responses. 6 months later, Allison's family permitted a conditional reunion with Carol. The first meeting took place in a park, with Robert present. Carol expressed a sincere apology to Lily. Lily, Grandma did something very bad. I hurt you, and I deeply regret it. I won't ask for forgiveness, but I want to cherish you from now on. Lily was initially cautious but accepted the new teddy bear Carol brought and nodded slightly. In her eyes, there was wariness but also a glimmer of hope. Carol began volunteering at the Parenting Support Center, particularly in workshops about the role of grandparents, where she anonymously used her own experience as an example. She started advocating to other elderly people about the importance of building healthy relationships with grandchildren. Sometimes we mistake harshness for love, she said in a workshop. But true love is unconditional acceptance. I paid too high a price to learn that. 3 years passed. In the twilight of a Minnesota autumn, a barbecue party was being held in Allison's backyard. 9-year-old Lily ran around with a smile, surrounded by Bailey and her friends. Her laughter spread throughout the garden, carried by the autumn breeze. Robert stood in front of the grill, chatting with George as he flipped hamburgers. He had successfully negotiated with his company to reduce overseas trips and prioritize family time. Having shifted to a project management position at the Minneapolis branch, Robert had become an indispensable presence at family events. At the patio table, Carol, Martha, and Allison were preparing salad while engrossed in conversation. Carol was like a different person from 3 years ago. Her warm smile as she watched over her grandchildren showed no trace of her former coldness. Lily's artwork for the painting contest was wonderful, Carol said. That imagination comes from your influence, Allison. Allison smiled. Thank you, Mom. Carol had now become an official staff member at the local Parenting Support Center, specifically running programs for grandparents. Her booklet, How Grandparents Should Love, had become well known in the region and was even published by a small publishing house. Will everyone come to Ohio for Thanksgiving again this year? George asked as he placed burgers on plates. Of course, Allison answered. Amy will be there too, and Vanessa and Scott. Vanessa had married a year ago and was now studying to become a family therapist. Her former Perfect Parenting account was gone, replaced by a blog themed on family growth and reconciliation. 11-year-old Amy had built a friendship-like relationship with her cousin Lily. During the party, Lily ran into the house and returned with a small wooden box. Look, she shouted to the family. It's time to open the time capsule. It was a time capsule created a year ago to commemorate the family's reconciliation. Everyone gathered as Lily carefully opened the lid. Inside were photos, letters, and a small teddy bear. This is the bear that saved me, Lily said with a smile. The room fell silent for a moment. Then Carol stepped forward and knelt beside Lily. Yes, this bear saved you, she said quietly. And ultimately, it saved Grandma too. Carol gently embraced Lily. Thanks to you, Grandma learned what true love is. What's important isn't being perfect, Robert said. It's acknowledging mistakes, learning from them, and growing. Allison looked around at her family, savoring a peaceful sense of happiness. They had overcome difficulties and were bound by stronger ties. Lily had now grown into a confident girl who was certain of being loved. That night, after putting Lily to bed, Allison and Robert quietly gazed at the stars from the porch. Remember? The anger and fear from that time? Allison asked. Every day, Robert squeezed his wife's hand. But sometimes such crises become turning points. It became an opportunity for all of us to change. As stars shone in the Minnesota night sky, their story continued into a new chapter. They had learned that perfect families don't exist. What matters is supporting each other through difficult times and continuing to grow. That, they discovered, is the true essence of family.